After I uploaded my Resident Evil 2 demo hacking video, I received a comment from a YouTuber called Mass Distraction asking if I had ever played the Resident Evil 3 time demo and if it was possible to hack the timer. When I got the comment, I didn't even know there was a Resident Evil 3 time demo. I'd only ever played the trial version, which wasn't timed. But there was a good reason that I didn't know about it, because it turns out that this is a very rare demo. And after doing a little research, I found out that this demo was actually only ever sent to stores so that people could play a little trial of it before they bought the game. So only retailers would actually have this demo, and I've only heard of 3 copies of this demo and they're all in the hands of collectors. So this comment left me with a lot of questions. Firstly, could I get my hands on the demo to play it? Could I hack the timer on the demo? And once the demo's hacked, can I find any hidden content on the disc? I now haven't answered all of these questions. It wasn't easy, but in this video I'm going to tell the story of how I did it. I want to start out by thanking Mass Distraction. If it wasn't for him I wouldn't have known about this demo, but also he arranged to make a copy of his version and send it to me. He actually came across the demo by chance. He ordered the full game off eBay, but the seller listed the game wrong and didn't realise it was only a demo. He had some problems creating the bin and Q file, but with the file he sent me I was able to get the unique code of the demo. Every PlayStation game or demo comes with a unique code. In the case of the Resident Evil 3 time demo, the code is SLED02541. See, before when I was searching for the game I found it very difficult to find because a lot of websites have been taken down thanks to Nintendo, but with this unique code I was able to very quickly find another download for the demo. I downloaded that file and I'll re-upload it and put a link in the description so you guys can try this out for yourself. I also have a link to Mass Distraction's YouTube channel so you can go and check him out too. Now the difficult part, hacking the timer. With the Resident Evil 2 demo it was much easier to hack because many other people had done it before me and I could look up some codes online and people had a better understanding of the demo in general. Because of the rarity with the Resident Evil 3 demo, I didn't have such luxury of just finding codes online. I knew that the only way I could stop this timer would be by doing it myself, and for that I would need to teach myself how to hack games. Something I had never done before, but when I really want to do something I can become a little bit obsessed. So I did a lot of research online and eventually found a program called Cheat Engine. Now normally I would leave links in the description and where possible let people do what I've done, but I honestly can't recommend this program because I don't know enough about it. I was even getting virus warnings when I downloaded it, but I can't be sure if that was just false positives. After all, this program is hacking your computer, and so it's natural that your antivirus will assume that it's a threat. And for that reason I can't recommend it because I don't know the ins and outs of it and I don't know how safe it actually is. But like I said, I was fixated on getting this timer to stop, so I took the risk and just downloaded it. So I'm going to show you my exact method on how to stop the timer using Cheat Engine. But before I show you this method, I should point out that this was really trial and error for me at first. The Cheat Engine allows you to search for things like numbers within the game's code. So for example, if you had 3 health packs and you took one, you could use Cheat Engine to search the game's code and find what has changed from 3 to a 2. And you'll then know the code that allows you to change your number of health packs. But the code for the timer isn't as obvious. We know it's counting down in seconds, but it's almost impossible to know what the change is. For example, is the in-game timer counting down in minutes? Is it counting down in seconds? Or is it some strange arbitrary code that has nothing to do with the way it's displayed? Like maybe it's milliseconds or maybe it's frames. It could be that the timer is linked to the number of frames per second in the game. I know that some other games are timed that way. And if that was the case, it would almost be impossible for me to know exactly what number has changed. Luckily, Cheat Engine has a scan type called unknown initial value, saying as I don't know what the initial value of the timer is. All I had to do was do a first scan of this and change the scan type to decreased value. As the timer is always decreasing, all I have to do is continually run this scan. Now initially I found over 1 million things that decrease in value. Of course you're going to have lots of different things going on in this game's code. But as long as you continue to run the scan over and over again, maybe every second or so that passes, eventually not everything will decrease in the game's code and you will be left with fewer and fewer searches. It doesn't take long to find which piece of the game's code we need to edit to affect the timer. And you can do this in two ways in Cheat Engine. You can either disable the code, which just stops the timer altogether, or you can actually change the value of the code to give you a lot more time. There is a way using the hex editor that you can actually turn this into a usable game shortcode, but instead what I did was give myself lots more time and then just set up a save state. I'll leave a link to that save state in the description if anyone would like to use it and save them the hassle of using Cheat Engine. Now that the timer is hacked, I can freely roam around without the burden of the game ending every 5 minutes. After a few tests, I found that the demo is exactly the same as the full retail game, except with the timer. When you reach the police station, the demo ends, giving you a to be continued title screen. But there are a few other areas in the streets I wanted to see if I could get into. Unfortunately, I would need some items that are found in the police station. And again, this is where hacking comes in. Codes for each of the different items are actually pretty easy to come by online. The difficult part is knowing where to add these codes. You first have to determine where the different inventory slots are in the game's code. The best way I found to do this was to equip the assault rifle in a slot I wanted to change an item for, and then did an exact value scan type of the percentage of bullets I had left for the gun. After a few scans, I wasted some of my bullets and then re-entered the new percentage and did another scan type for the exact value. Then when I only had a couple of options left, I changed the value just to make sure that I had the right piece of code. After you've identified the different slots, all you have to do is take whichever item code you want. In this case I'm taking the lockpick. Change your type to 4 bytes, that's important. If you don't do that, it doesn't work. And then just change the value to whatever code you want the item to be. In this case I'm using the lockpick and the fire hose because I believed that I could actually use these to access different parts of the demo. I now have the lockpick and the fire hose in my inventory, although the image isn't actually displaying. But what I found was if I equip the warehouse key and then discard it, when I go back into my inventory the images for the different items show up. Unfortunately the fire hose didn't work. I was hoping to put out the fire and access some new areas within this demo and see if there's anything had changed. But I think this item or puzzle just wasn't scripted in this scene. Capcom probably realised that people would hack the game at some point and be able to access items earlier, so they purposely left this part unscripted whenever you enter the room for the first time. I would like to test out the walk through walls cheat at some point and see if I could walk through the fire, but my guess is Capcom have left it so that there's no way to get past that fire. I did have a little more luck with the lockpick though. It opened the red door, but it took me to the wrong location. Instead of taking me to a different part of the streets, it actually brings you into the boutique. I think this is another measure Capcom have put in place to stop people from hacking the game. It's almost as if they've purposely scripted the streets to only allow you to go to the police station first, even if you're hacking and you have all the items. I was going to put on the walk through walls cheat here and pop myself through into the boutique, but as you can see all of the doors are actually closed, so I don't see there would be any real benefit. I think probably you wouldn't be able to change your costume or do anything in here anyway. So unfortunately, even though I had extra items, both of these led to dead ends. Which brings me on to my next point. In my Resident Evil 2 hacking video I got two of the following comments. The first comment reads, "In a way it's kind of pointless to do this since you can get the full game for free nowadays through ROMs and emulators." He then goes on to say that I went to a lot of trouble for no reason. Another comment reads, "Can I ask, you have the full game, why do you waste your time doing this?" My reasons for hacking these demos is to try and find some unfinished parts of the game, maybe parts that were still in development or have changed from the finished game. I found a lot of that in my Resident Evil 2 hacking demo. Unfortunately I wasn't able to find any of this in the Resident Evil 3 time demo, and I think part of the reason for this was that the demo was released around the same time that the game was released. So unfortunately what I'm playing here is just no different to the final game, except with the timer. But if I hadn't hacked the game then I would never have known that was the case. It would always have bugged me if I wasn't able to stop that timer and find out if there was anything else on the disc. So at least I have some closure, and it was fun teaching myself how to hack games. I'm sure now that I know how it's done, I will try this out on some other demos at some point. There is a Resident Evil 3 trial demo that I may hack at some point, because in it you can actually get into the police station. But as far as the Resident Evil 3 time demo goes, I think this is pretty much case closed, and I don't think there's any unseen content on the disc. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please check out some of my other Resident Evil videos, and let me know in the comments if you can think of any other demos that would be good to hack. I'm always on the lookout for cool demos to check out. I'm a bit of a demo collector now. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.